Jaya Sasi Maharani Jaya Vrinda Devi Jaya Sasi Maharani Jaya Vrinda Devi Jaya Vinde Jaya Vinde Jaya Vinde Jaya Shri Vinde Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nittai Gora Haribo, 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 Nittai Gora Haribo. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotar Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotar Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Hathur Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Sankirtan Yagya Ki Brihad Mridanga Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Gaura Premananda Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Naranayam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesa bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavadutam ashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed in loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 54, Text 36, and probably 37. Krishnantikam upavraja dadrishush tatra rukminam tatabhutam hatha prayam Drishtva sankarshano vibhuhu vimucha badham karuno Bhagavan Krishnam abravit. I'm not exactly sure the meter on this. That's okay. It's just longer than most verses. Yeah. Krishnantikam upavraja dadrishush tatra rukminam tatabhutam hataprayam Drishtva sankarshano vibhu vimucha badam karuno Bhagavan Krishnam abravit. Krishnantikam upavraja dadrishush tatra rukminam tatabhutam hataprayam Drishtva sankarshano vibhu vimucha badam karuno Bhagavan Krishnam abravit. Krishnantikam upavraja vimucha badam karuno Raja Drishush tatra rukminam bhutam hataprayam Shano Bhu Karuno Bhagavan Krishnam abravit. Shantikam Pravraja Bhagavan Krishnam abravit. Word for word meanings. Krishna, of Krishna. Antikam, the proximity. Upavraja, approaching. Dadrishahu, they, the Yadu soldiers, saw. Tatra, there. Rukminam, Rukmi. Tatabhutam, in such a condition. Hatha, dead. Prayam, practically. Drishtva, seeing. Sankarshanaha, Balaram. Vibhuhu, the omnipotent. Vimucha, releasing. Badam, the bound up Rukmi. Karunaha, compassionate. Bhagavan, the Lord. Krishnam, to Krishna. Abravit, said. Translation. As the Yadus approached Lord Krishna, they saw Rukmi in this sorry condition, practically dying of shame. When the all-powerful Lord Balaram saw Rukmi, he compassionately released him and spoke the following to Lord Krishna. Please repeat. As the Yadus approached Lord Krishna, they saw Rukmi in this sorry condition, practically dying of shame. When the all-powerful Lord Balaram saw Rukmi, he compassionately released him and spoke the following to Lord Krishna. There's no purport for this verse, but there are some commentaries. But I'm going to go to the next verse first before I go to the commentaries. So text 37, I'm just going to read the Sanskrit. Aswadidam Tvaya Krishna Kritam Asmaj Jagapsitam Vapanam Shmashru Keshanam Vairupyam Surido Vadaha. Translation for this verse is, Lord Balaram said, "My dear Krishna, you have acted improperly. This deed will bring shame on us. For to disfigure a close relative by shaving off his mustache and hair is as good as killing him." Purport by the servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Omniscient Balaram knew that Rukmi was the guilty party, but to encourage the lamenting Rukmini, he decided to gently reproach Sri Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sabatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swabadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru and Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raguna Tampitam Tamsa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prarijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakampitam Cha Hey Krishna Korana Sindho Dina Bandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopikanta Radhakanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshri Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Trubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. On this damp and misty morning, I'm going to go back and read these two verses together. As the Yadus approached Lord Krishna, they saw Rukmi in this sorry condition, practically dying of shame. When the all-powerful Lord Balaram saw Rukmi, he compassionately released him and spoke the following to Lord Krishna. Lord Balaram said, "My dear Krishna, you have acted improperly. This deed will bring shame on us, for to disfigure a close relative by shaving off his mustache and hair is as good as killing him." So I'm going to read the commentaries by the Acharyas, going back to text 36, where Lord Balaram is stumbling upon Rukmi. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Balaram took in his own hand the cloth that Krishna was holding in his left hand and let Rukmi loose from his noose. That's kind of a poetic way of putting it. Let Rukmi loose from his noose. And Jiva Goswami writes, the Yadu heroes saw Rukmi in that disfigured condition, almost dead from shame. But it is not proper to release such an offender. Balaram was omniscient, Bhagavan, and like Rukmini, he knew the suffering of Rukmi and the future pastimes of Krishna. Therefore, he showed mercy, since Rukmi was related to Krishna's first wife. Seeing both Krishna and Rukmini, Balaram, filled with shame, spoke to them both. Krishna only is mentioned since Balaram spoke to him mainly. And Sanatana Goswami writes, they saw Rukmi with his shaved head. Balaram had a different bhava from Krishna since he was the elder brother, Vibhuhu. Thus he released him with affectionate words. But it is not proper to release such an offender. He was merciful. He was omniscient, Bhagavan. He knew that if he spoke to Krishna roughly and spoke to Rukmi with affection, he would relieve Rukmini of lamentation. So Lord Balaram is coming onto this scene, and let me read the tikas for the next verse before I keep going. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, it would have been better to kill him. Shaving him with a sword has made his face ghastly. To console the lamenting Rukmini, Balaram in this way engaged in an appearance of scolding Krishna. However, internally he was thinking, O most clever brother, you have done what is proper. Becoming satisfied, he then scolded Krishna. Surit in this verse refers to Rukmi as a friend, relative, a brother-in-law. Factually, however, he is an enemy, not a friend. Therefore, the word is used to mean the opposite in sarcasm. And Jiva Goswami writes, Balaram addressed Krishna by his principal name because of the arousal of affection as his elder brother. It is not proper for the Vrishnis, who are most famous, with you as its crowning achievement to do a condemned action. What was that action? Out of shame, Balaram did not mention it in the beginning. He then mentions it in the last line. You shaved his head, but it is not a small punishment, for you disfigured him also. He criticized Krishna to pacify Rukmini. He thought, he can be criticized because he is related to me. Rukmini then became ashamed, for by scolding Krishna, she also became scolded. He did this to teach Krishna. This was his mercy. That is understood in later verses as well. And Sanatana Goswami writes, O giver of all happiness, Krishna, it is wrong for us to do this criticized act. Balaram includes himself in this act, asmat. Others can do this, but not us. Or it is an act for which others will criticize us. Out of shame, he does not mention the act in the beginning, but later mentions it. This disfiguring him is not a small punishment, but death. So in these verses, so previously, Krishna has kidnapped Rukmini. Rukmi has set up this marriage for his sister and Shishupal, and Krishna came in to save Rukmini, who is infatuated with Krishna, wants to marry Krishna, does not want to marry Shishupal. So Krishna just grabs her, runs out of there, and then everybody comes to their senses because they're all blinded by Rukmini's beauty. And then the situation, Krishna just comes in and grabs her. So then they come to their senses, go after, they want to get her back. They're very upset, and they go and attack. But they're defeated. Balaram and his army and all these fighters are defeating these armies, and they get defeated, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to give up. But Rukmi, he's furious, He's like, I'm going to teach Krishna a lesson. I'm going to punish this guy. I'm going to get her back. Nobody does this, So he goes and he fights with Krishna, and Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So you can't really win a fight with the Supreme Lord. But he doesn't know that. He doesn't recognize that. So Krishna's just cutting down all his arrows and bows, and then he comes out with his swords and knives, and Krishna's just like knocking them down left and right like out of a cartoon. And then finally Krishna's done. He's fed up. So he ties him up, and he's ready to kill him. But then Balaram comes on the scene, most merciful Balaram comes on the scene. He's like, wait, hold on, don't do this, you know? And then here we're coming in, Balaram's, it's like, okay, don't do this. Now he's a relative, now he's your brother-in-law. This isn't proper to kill a relative. And in later verses, we'll see he also kind of, as it says here, scolds Rukmini for almost being too emotionally attached to her brother, because in essence, he did do something wrong. He attacked Krishna and Krishna's entourage. So I was thinking about these, this whole pastime, the snipping of the hair and the mustache, and it's like a comical pastime. And when I think about it, I think of these cartoons I used to see growing up, Looney Tunes or whatever, and I can almost imagine it just like somebody being tied up and then somebody running up and just, snipping off this big mustache or this big beard or a part of hair. And it seems kind of funny. But then when I was listening to the class yesterday, and I went back to one of the commentaries, let me just find it here. Anyways, the point is, in one of the commentaries, it's saying, Krishna basically rips out some of his hair at the roots, so there's blood. And then that's the disfigurement, because it's talking about all this disfigurement, and I'm thinking, oh, well, hair, you could just grow that back. It's not that big of a deal. But it's almost like, it made me think of when Native Americans and American Indians used to scalp people in war and take like the crown of their head, you get disfigured from that if you don't die. So Krishna practically, the guy, he's disfigured. And the hair thing, I was thinking, okay, well, you just grow your hair back. But from personal experience, when I used to have hair and had a full head of hair, I was actually attached to my hair. And I grew it out for like 5 or 6 years. It was down, I don't know, mid-chest. And I thought it was glorious, or mildly glorious, And then once, in a similar situation, I had a friend that came over, and I talked about maybe cutting my hair. And then just out of the blue, when I came home from work, this friend was there and just snipped a piece of my hair off as like kind of a joke. But it was like 6 inches of my hair. And I actually shed a tear. I cried a little bit. There's like an attachment. So at these, in this particular time, this is like a status symbol, this hair, facial hair, and it still is to this day to some degree. So here he is, Rukmini disfigured, and then part of me is thinking, okay, well, he attacked Krishna, which is bad, but, come on, you stole his sister. He was going to get married, she was going to get married to somebody else. That's not so bad, right? He's just looking out for family. Why you got to put him through all this? I'm kind of thinking on Rukmini's behalf here. And then I was looking in Krishna book, and Prabhupada says, the whole catastrophe of the defeat was due to the envious nature of Rukmini's elder brother, Rukmi. And it goes on to say, he has this attitude like, I'm going to teach Krishna a lesson. This isn't right. I'm going to do what I think is right. And that's the whole problem here, is that Rukmi is not recognizing the wishes of the Supreme Lord. So he's not finding peace, and he's still trying to lord it over and make it his own way. And the Lord just keeps shutting him down and keeps shutting him down. He's like, no, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to fight back. Forget you, Krishna. I'm going to get you. And it's not working. And what I'm getting from this is it's just kind of like an example for us. Like, why are we here in this material world? It's because we want to be separate from Krishna. We want to enjoy separate from Krishna, lord it over, and be supreme. And he offers this world as a place to facilitate that, but we're always frustrated. It's never going to happen because It's a temporary world of misery. So that was one of the main things I was getting out of it, is that you can't fight against the supreme will. You just have to surrender to the supreme will. And the way Krishna is kind of doing that to Rukmi is humiliating him. Omkar was saying yesterday, Omkar Prabhu, he was talking about a lot about humiliation. And then when you're humiliated, you become humble. Then you start looking at, okay, what did I do wrong? What's going on here? What's the problem? And in essence, Rukmi should be doing that, but he won't do that. He's very stubborn. And as we'll see in later verses, he just gives up and goes somewhere else and lives the rest of his life, I think. But the point is, we should be, if we want to have peace, happiness, even in this world, we just have to become humble and surrender to the Lord and his devotees. And I was also it's remarkable, the mercy of Lord Balaram. It reminded me of the mercy of Lord Nityananda, who is, an expansion of Lord Balaram, and how he, saved the lives of Jagai and Madai. But in that incident, they recognized the errors of their ways, and they were able to repent and then become devotees and start serving the devotees. And, I realized the offenses I made. How can I make this better? How can I serve? And that's what we need to do, and that's what a lot of us are trying to do in Krishna consciousness. You just don't get discouraged. A lot of times it talks here a lot about shame and things like that. And shame can be good. We should feel a little bit of shame for trying to lord it over. We should feel a little bit of shame for trying to be the enjoyer. And, I hate using the word punishment, but this is our punishment. So when things don't feel right and feel horrible and it doesn't look like we can do anything right, we just have to be humble and surrender to the devotees and surrender to Krishna's devotees. One point I wanted to make is the power of surrendering to like Lord Balaram, because we just had these appearances of Lord Balaram, Srimati Radharani. Instead of approaching Krishna directly, approaching these personalities, who are in some cases even more merciful than Krishna, is to our extreme benefit. If we're really humble and pray to these personalities, and even Srila Prabhupada, his appearance day. I mean, praying to Srila Prabhupada, trying to serve Srila Prabhupada and his devotees can be mind-blowing. It can really ramp up your devotional service, your devotional progress. So really, what it boils down to is Rukmi. I kept thinking of this verse, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. And I used to hear this verse constantly before I was a devotee. I had this lecture by my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami, and I would listen to, it was before MP3 players and everything, but they had MP3, so I downloaded it onto a CD. And I listened to this thing constantly. And he quoted this verse. And he was basically saying that, the cause of all our suffering is us forgetting Krishna, us trying to be the enjoyer. And not just simply surrendering to Krishna's will. And how do we know what Krishna's will is? It takes some soul searching, some searching in the heart, but also we ask senior devotees, and we pray to these personalities to try and understand what Krishna's will is, what Krishna wants, what service does Krishna need fulfilled. And also, one point I wanted to bring up, which I don't know if it's quite related, but a lot of times we may be overburdened with service, maybe, or we may get some service that we're not so crazy about, or so enthusiastic about, or so pleased to do, but we should do it anyways. If we get a chance to serve, but maybe we have some bodily issues or we're already engaged in something else, but if we get a chance to serve, we should take advantage and do service. We're chanting all the time, or at least hopefully we're chanting all the time, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when we're chanting, we're asking Krishna, please give me service, help me. Please keep me engaged in your service. So then if we get some service and we're like, I don't really want to do that, or I'm going to put that off, or it's actually kind of an offense, because you're saying, okay, well, thanks for the service, but I'll wait for something better to come along. But you just got to do what's necessary, surrender and be humble, and try not to be offensive. And Rukmi is none of these, so we should try to learn from his example on what not to do, and surrender wholeheartedly to Krishna, spiritual master, his devotees. I wanted to leave it open for a couple questions if anybody had any.
I want to thank you for bringing up the fact that we can learn a lesson from seeing Rukmi. In other words, we should know how that we should surrender to the Lord and not keep this mentality of trying to be separate and enjoy separately. I mean, he's an extreme case. But the Bhagavatam, I was reading another verse today in the Bhagavatam, and I won't even say what the verse is right now, but the important point is that it was within a story, and there was a pastime going on, but the pastime teaches us how we should be really acting, besides being the pastime, which is glorious.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get the surface of the pastime, the surface level of the pastime, and just trying to see how it can apply to us. That's what I was.
You did a good job at it. I mean, you really made the point.
And it's not like, so Rukmi is like, he's antagonistic, but I feel like in some ways he is a devotee, quote unquote, because he's in the pastime. I don't know if that's right to assume, because he's in this, he's in Krishna's pastime. So in a way he's a devotee, but he's antagonistic. Does that make any sense? Is that too, is that a stretch?
That's probably a stretch in the sense that Rukmi is in the pastime, but Rukmi he's like Kamsa.
Okay.
They're not favorably, it's no favorableness there. But
Anyways, thank you for tolerating. Sorry for any offenses. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Asa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Bracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vaskachari Satarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vaskachari Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Giri Govardhan, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, 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 Jaya Guru Deva. Jaya
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Jai Radha Krishna Gopa Gopanath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Guruna Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki. Shrimati Tulsi Devi Ki. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Brihad Madanga Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Goloka Nanda Ki Jai. Arpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavaki Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatmastapanam Paramajayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smarane Nakala Etadrishi. Like that roses there in the middle. Nirdivam Idvishami Hanjani Nanuraga Trinada Pisuni Chena Tarora Pisuhishuna Amani Namana Dena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Gavidam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoita Ki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishameba Mam Buddha Kripayata Vavada Pankaja Stita Duli Sajashim Vachintaya Nayanam Galadashu Daraya Varanam Gadgarudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vabhukada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlisha Vabadamadam Nastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatava Vinadatu Lampato Mat Prananatas Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. They're not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. Should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.